Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Okay, do we have audio? Can you see me? Can you see my screen? Can you hear me? Okay, great. A little lighter crowd today, I would imagine. There is literally nothing else in the entire world going on at this moment worth our attention except trading and this webinar, right? Okay, obviously, guys, there's some kind of big political stuff going on right now. We don't need to discuss it. We don't need to get into it because that will probably just involve a lot of us shouting back and forth at each other. So we're not going to do that. But we are, for those of you that are here, and listen, I don't care what your opinion is on what's going on right now. There's nothing newsworthy going to come out of the next hour. So you're here, right? You're the ones that are willing to set aside some of the drama for a little education. And you guys are the ones I like working for, so we appreciate that. So my name is Matt Hensley. I'm the head of trading education at TeresiasTrading.com. Special thank you to Josh and his team over at Blue Sky for the continued invitations to talk. They must not be sick of me yet. I'm pretty sick of me already, so they're more patient than I am. So yes, today we will be giving away, or I should say our friends over at Blue Sky will be giving away a free $25,000 evaluation trading combine. Trading evaluation account, whatever, however you want to do it. The evaluation side, they're not going to give you 25 grand. Well, they will if you complete the combine, but that's a whole separate thing. So there will be a link posted sometime in the next 20 to 25 minutes. You go in there, you put your email, your Discord name. At the very end, we will spin the wheel o names and go from there. So how's everybody doing today? Everybody feeling all right? Everybody, I'll tell you about my day momentarily. Very, very frustrating. Well, mostly frustrating. Had a decent trade today, and then I noticed my internet flipped out, right? And that does happen from time to time. Hold on, I can get rid of this. There we go. Right? I mean, occasionally, we're dealing with a lot of information coming in, coming out. I've got a house that has, a bunch of TVs. Sometimes there's people watching stuff on there. I've got a really high-speed internet connection, but occasionally, sometimes things move in and out, right? That's fine. But all my charts froze for about 20 seconds, and so okay, wonder what's going on here. Well, for those of you that are part of our Discord, I looked outside and 3 Comcast trucks were there. I was like, oh crap. So at that point, I had made I'd made one trade. It was a pretty nice trade. It worked out very, very well. But at that point, my day is done. I have a general rule that if things aren't really, again, we're day trading futures here, guys, and I don't care whether you're in a sim account, an eval account, or live real money account. I have a general rule that if I start seeing some internet issues, thankfully this hasn't happened a whole lot over the course of the last couple of years. It's done for the day. I'm not risking, because I've had it happen to me. Thankfully, it was I got caught in a trade when my internet went out, and I'd spend on hold, thankfully, for only about 5 minutes to get through to my broker, and the trade was I think I ended up actually making like $80 in the time that I was on the phone for the trade. But if your connection is not good, if I don't care where you're at, especially if you have Comcast, things can flicker from time to time. 1 or 2 little flickers for a second or two, all right, that's fine. But if something goes out 20, 30 seconds, I'm going to at least give it 10 to 15 minutes to make sure it's not a bigger problem. Thankfully, despite Comcast's service reputation, their service, at least in my area, has been fairly reliable. But they were laying some new wire across the street, repairing a couple of boxes. Thankfully, I didn't lose internet completely, but it did go out 3 or 4 more times. And again, even you guys that try, I don't care. Again, I don't care if you're trading an eval account, a sim account, or a live money account. If you enter a trade and your internet goes out for 30 seconds, that can be thousands of dollars. So again, this is here's the segue in today's topic. This is part of one of the big sort of parts of my trading plan, capital T, capital P, right? And so this is what we're going to talk about today, specifically having a trading plan, sticking to a trading plan, etc. We're going to get into that momentarily. I do want to talk briefly about the markets today. We ended up, I mean, if you look here at the ES, we ended up almost exactly flat on the ES, right? Okay. On the NQ, we ended up about 0.2%. But guys, today was a great day in terms of movement. And I put this in the room, but I want to review just one quick thing here, guys. For some reason, candlesticks are starting to lose popularity in the trading world in general, especially in the day trading futures world. And there's a lot of great tools out there, guys. I myself do use Renko charts. I'm learning volume profile, that kind of stuff. I know a lot of you use those charts. Some people use point and figure charts. Those are becoming popular again. But for me, nothing beats the good old original Steve Nissen candlestick charts. Right now, this is the thing. People look at candlestick charts and they say, well, the signals aren't as reliable, and sometimes there's so much noise within a particular candle. And yes, that can be true. But Steve Nissen himself, and guys, most of his stuff is out of print, but if you go to eBay, Steve Nissen DVDs, usually somebody's got copies, either secondhand or burned or whatever. Any of his DVDs and workbooks and all, I can't recommend them enough. It's just some fantastic, fantastic stuff. In all the programs that I teach in the Funded Traders program that I'm starting very soon, I'm going to talk about that in about 20 minutes. We're doing a deep dive into candlesticks. And again, one of the biggest mistakes, Steve Nissen will tell you this, that candlestick traders use is trading every signal, or assuming every signal means you enter a trade. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In a lot of cases, I use candlesticks to just give me a general snapshot in the market and any time frame, and also is it to help set up trades elsewhere. And let me illustrate what I mean by that. So one of my favorite candlestick patterns is what's called a multi-wick rejection. Okay, and so we saw that at around 9 o'clock Central, so 10 o'clock Eastern, and the NQ, guys, right? So hold on, give me my drawing tools. Now we're going to play this game right now. Okay, so you can see here, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not familiar with these particular tools. Let me, and now I don't know how, okay, hold on. Let me get rid of the drawings. Okay. So anyway, let's just look at these candlesticks right here. And let me zoom in for those that are on smaller screens. My Epic pen just does not want to play nice with this particular application. I have no idea what it is. It's supposed to overrule everything. But anyway, here we go. So let's look at this area here. So what is this dotted line, first of all? And we don't have time to do a deep dive on VWAP, okay? But this is the +1 standard deviation band off VWAP, which is this purple line down here. And so look what happens. One time. These are 5-minute candles. 2 times. 3 times. 4 times in a row. We won't count this, but this makes a run as well. But 4 straight 5-minute candles. So we're talking about over a 20-minute period. Price action tried to breach the +1 standard deviation right about, we'll call it the 445 level, and all 4 times was rejected. So it's important that we talk about what's going on in the auction at this point, right? In the actual markets, in the dome. Okay, so 4 straight times over a 5-minute period, actually more than that, because candles are only used when they're closed. Price action made a run up to 445, and every time it happened, within that time period, the exact same reaction. The seller stepped in and said, you know what, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll take a short there. Or people that had bought earlier said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sell here, right? Intense selling pressure all up here. So now, not every time. Nothing is 100% in the markets, or neither one of us would be sitting here doing this event right now. We'd be off trading that 100%, right? But and I wish I had figures in front of you, but I can almost guarantee it's a pretty good majority of the time you see this level. Again, this is rare, especially in the NQ. You guys know how neurotic the NQ can be, right? 4 straight candle rejects, and magically, what happened after that? Price action decided it needed to take a little bit of a break, right? I always like to use, especially when I'm using like an application like Bookmap, like a heat map dome is basically what Bookmap is, right? And I always make the, if price needs to kick through, to run through a door, right? If, a stock is at price 100 and it needs to slam its shoulder and break down that door of 100 to go up to 101, 102, 103, and it can't do it a couple of times. If you're trying to break down a door, let's say, God forbid, there's an emergency, you need to break down a door, okay, and you throw your shoulder into it 3 or 4 times, and it budges, but it doesn't break, right? Well, what do? Do you just keep doing the exact same thing? No. You take a step back. Sometimes you get a running start, and boom, then that's when you crack through it. Now, maybe it holds again, and maybe you got to go get something else, or at that point, maybe somebody shows up with something that breaks the door down. But you get what I'm saying. If the price action knocking on that door. So now what happened? It needed to take a step back, and this is where the trade came in. Now, yes, we did get up here and break through this as the day progressed, right? In fact, it was, a couple hours later we did that, actually about an hour and a half. But anyway, this setup then, at this point, I'm not getting into a trade based on this, right? As much as I thought the price action would retrace, as much as I was right that the price action retraced, I don't, at least as we speak here right now, I don't have a playbook that shows me a play here. So even if I was damn sure and ended up being right, price action was going to retrace, I have no play. I have no setup currently that leads to that particular outcome. All right. So with that in mind, I then, with that short bias, said, well, let's look for a setup that I do trade, a playbook that I do trade. And here it is, guys. And again, I'm sorry, I lost my some of my lines here. All right. Basic RTT trend play. In this case, an RTT trend short. We established a low here. We confirmed a lower high, and then we confirmed a lower low. I'm in for this trade. I wish I could tell you I got the whole thing, but I got about 35 handles on it. I think that was about my average. My trading desk is upstairs. But regardless of that, okay, so the candlesticks didn't give me a trade, but they gave me a thesis and a bias to make my trade. And again, what is a trade? A trade is where a thesis meets a setup. I can have a thesis all day, right? I had the thesis that we were going to come down off the +1 standard deviation bands. I didn't know if we would go all the way back to VWAP, right, or below, but that was my thesis. And then I had a thesis. It met one of my setups. It equaled a trade. So that's going to work 100% of the time, right, guys? Of course not, right? But that's what you have to do if you want to be successful in this game. Yeah, so Jimmy, let me answer that question. It says, can you go over the RTT trade again, please? That's not the topic of this webinar, and that's about a 45-minute presentation, so I don't want to do that. You can probably look back in some of the webinars for that, but I will also give you a little tease. I am going to do a very deep dive on the RTT trend short and the RTT trend long in my Funded Traders Accelerator program coming up. And if you go to my, most of you should have an invite to my Discord at this point. I have a whole channel that's just RTT trend examples. I try to put them in almost every single day. This one is in there. Okay. I don't put every trade in there, but if I can put 4 to 5 examples per week, obviously you get 10 weeks, you got 50 trades, and it's just, again, they're more real-time examples in terms of the setup exactly. So pardon me for kind of shruffing that off a little bit, but I want to stay on topic for the webinar. Because, again, I don't want to go super late today because I know people may want to go watch the news or whatever's going on as stuff trickles out in the next 30 minutes or so. But I do want to make sure we cover the topic and go from there. Okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, so I want to talk about trading plans and planning trades, right? So we're going to talk, there's 2 parts to this, right? There's having a trading plan and having a plan for your trading, okay? Those are 2 separate things. So I actually want to start with the second one first. Having a plan for your trading. And guys, I got just a couple of slides. I don't want to go death by PowerPoint today, but I want to make sure you guys can see these particular slides. This is off a course I did years ago. So having a plan for your trading, we're talking about the whole thing, right? And this is a few years old, so this doesn't necessarily take into account some of the funded trader programs like Blue Sky. But let's jump in here and just I'm going to go through these slides pretty quickly. This will take less than 10 minutes, guys, right? So I want to do a thought exercise with you, right? So I don't know anybody's individual financial situation or what kind of disposable income you have. Obviously, we're all in this to make money. As I began to do pretty well in trading, and naturally, friends, family, acquaintances, learn about that. And suddenly, I'm driving a little nicer car, right? People know what I do for a living, so it's a thing. It's a thing. So I've had this happen from time to time, but again, let's say you have $30,000 for your trading account. Okay. Obviously, for funded traders, this is a little bit of a different thought exercise, but just follow me for a second on this. And you had somebody come to you and say, hey, I've got this idea for a business, right? It's going to take $30,000 investment, whatever's in your brokerage account. And let's pretend this isn't like your kooky uncle or your kooky relative or that buddy who's always got the harebrained schemes who keeps flushing money down. So this is somebody you actually trust, somebody who doesn't do this, right? And let's say it's a pretty good idea. What's the very first thing you're going to ask that individual if you're interested? You're going to say, okay, let me see your business plan. Okay. Well, what do you want to know? Okay, what are they going to do with your capital? How are they going to take your capital? And listen, if it's a business plan, it's an investment and make more money off of it. Okay, you don't need things like a marketing plan, management structure. You don't need all that in trading. One of the best, in fact, I heard somebody talking about this in one of the Discords. I'm part of too many Discords the other day. There's an old podcast called Chat with Traders. It used to be very regular. Unfortunately, it's not anymore. The gentleman, Aaron, who did it, kind of has a lot of other business ventures now, and actually had a couple of kind of scurvy characters on there at one point. But anyway, if you go back to episode 11, it's with a gentleman named Zach Hurwitz. He's a friend of mine. He runs a website called thevwap.com. Great guy, great teacher of trading, very, very process oriented, not as into futures as I like, but still really, really, really good educator. And he talked about this as well, about understanding, what are you really doing when you start trading? Guys, the moment you purchased your first evaluation from Blue Sky, and if you haven't, I highly recommend it, you are now a small business for all intents and purposes. And yes, I get asked about this. Should you incorporate? Should you get an LLC? I have one. In my state, it makes a lot of sense. But for goodness sakes, don't do anything right away. Go. If you start to have success in trading, guys, go find the best accountant in your town. Pay him or her for an hour of their time. Sit down and ask questions about the taxes and pass-throughs and LLCs and all that. Well worth your time. But don't put the cart before the horse, guys, because you don't want to go through all that paperwork. Some states have big filing fees, and decide a year from now you're not very good at this. You don't want to deal with it anymore. Okay, so just quick aside there. Okay, so you are now the CEO of your own trading company. So treat it like that. There's nothing that I think irritates teachers of trading more than people who just kind of treat this as a hobby. One of the things, hold on, I want to bump a couple of slides here. So, guys, as a business, you should have an operations plan, right? What is your week-to-week, day-to-day routine? What platforms and tools are you using, right? Obviously, you've got a monthly fee if you're part of a program like Blue Sky. Let's say you've got a $50K evaluation. I don't know what discounts Josh has going on right now, but let's say it costs you $150. Okay, you should still figure that as a monthly expense. Yes, we all hope that we can pass it right away, right? But of course, that's not very realistic. If I was just starting tomorrow with the experience that I had now, my accounts were emptied. I had, I had all the knowledge of how to trade and all of that. I would budget about 3 months and at least 3 or 4 resets in my initial budget, right? I don't want to get to this point where I'm starting this and I've got to wait for money to come in or this or that. No, I'm not going to start until I have enough money that I think should get me to the point where I pass. Obviously Blue Sky's great. They don't have any funded trader fees, but you do still have data fees at that point that you got to take over, right? You should have a 3 to 6 months plan for your trading. You absolutely need to have this because, guys, what if you get to a situation where you need to get into a funded trader program or a funded account and you got to wait 5 days to get the whatever the data fees or rhythmic fee, whatever the case may be. Okay, all this stuff is like, is great now because it was such a pain in the ass to do when I first started. But again, what's your starting capital? Hold on, let me get to the other. When are you going to start pulling out funds for expenses? Obviously, this makes a little more sense if you're doing it from my point of view, where you have your own brokerage account and all of that. But if you're a funded trader and you're making consistent money in that funded account, at what point do you pull that out? I know we all want to make our first withdrawal as soon as possible for other expenses and stuff like that, right? But you should have a plan for that. Okay, so I got about 10 more slides of this, guys, but I'm not going to go through this. I just the overall overarching point of this is your trading is a business. You have to treat it like such. And I have just a one quick thing I want to read you guys. This is a book by a gentleman named Brett Steenbarger. It's called Trading Psychology 2.0. If you've read start with Mark Douglas, either Trading in the Zone or The Disciplined Trader. But if you like that and it speaks to you, this gets a little more technical in terms of psychology. Whereas Mark Douglas is a trader who studied psychology, Dr. Steenbarger is a psychologist who studied trading, and in that he's now like basically on retainer for some of the best traders in the world. So and he's a trader himself now. Okay, but I want to read you one quick thing, just one paragraph here. And this is from his book, but he's quoting Tadas Viskanta from Abnormal Returns, the book. It says, one of the problems novice traders have is that they don't treat their trading with the same rigor and seriousness that they do with any other sort of business endeavor. However, trading is just like any other business. It has revenues, overhead, variable expenses, etc. Trying to trade off the cuff without a plan or a means for measuring your performance is a recipe for disappointment. Many traders balk at the idea of formulating a trading plan because they feel it might stifle their creativity or ability to react to rapidly changing market conditions. Okay. First of all, guys, if you look, let me draw your attention to the chat right now. If you look at the yellow highlighted Blue Sky Trading Company name, make sure, as he said, to like and subscribe to the channel. The raffle for the 25K account is available right there. So go click that and get in that right now. Obviously, with a few less people here, we had a lot of people here last week. I'm sure we'll have a lot of people next week. But with obviously the big news event going on, your odds are never greater, guys. This isn't like the lottery. I actually had to explain to somebody the other day, an adult, unfortunately, why winning the lottery, because there's always big, especially in the Midwest here, Powerball, Mega Millions, they're getting back up to $1 billion. How if you were the only one playing the lottery, you have the exact same odds of winning as if everyone else is playing. Well, there's more people playing now, so you have less of a chance. That's not how that works. But yeah, I had to explain that to, as he put it, a grown-ass man. So that was I try to not talk down to people that come with that attitude, but it's really hard sometimes. That's a whole separate conversation. But anyway, so that is having a plan for your trading. And what about having? Oh, did I? There we go. So you have a little background to watch. We can watch some of the. Well, we're not open right now, but you get it. Anyway. All right. So, guys, I have a whole presentation that talks about developing a trading plan for a particular trade. But honestly, guys, as I've grown as an educator, I've gotten away from generalized, hey, you got to do this when you're formulating your trading plan. No, your trading plan should be one of your playbooks, right? So I've done multiple events for Blue Sky talking about a playbook. So what is a playbook? Okay, it is, I don't have one because it's not really something I print out, but it's just a simple, it's no different than anyone who's played basketball or football or whatever. You have a play, right? Y post route X, double ziggy zag quarterback run, whatever the case may be, right? That's a play. Okay, you go to the line, you look at the, everything. If the quarterback doesn't see something that makes him call an audible, that's the play we run. And it's the same thing in trading. You should have playbooks. So I will look for it. I'll try to drop my rough draft of the old RTT book in the Discord at some point. But I've revised it. Actually, I have a full playbook for that is going to be part of the course going forward. But the playbook is simply that. So for the RTT trend playbook, okay, I have a set of conditions that I'm looking for. I have a set of what I call C or Cs, confirmations or cancellations, things that I don't need in my favor, but I don't want them against me. So, for example, I don't take a long RTT trade if the ADDs are negative 1,500 or below. I don't take an RTT short trade if the ADDs, the advanced decline difference on the New York Stock Exchange, is plus 1,500 or greater. Okay, it's just one little thing. I don't have to have it going in my way, but I can't have it against me. Okay, and it's just one of those small things that I've looked at over the years. I'm very close to adding a VWAP condition to that as well. It's something I've been studying. I mean, again, the trade does well enough. I can trade it now, but I am keeping. I need about 100 more trades in it before I'm ready to make a decision on the VWAP aspect of it. Like, for example, no short trades if we're above the +1 standard deviation in VWAP. Again, I'm not there yet, but these are, you see where my brain is going, constantly refining the playbook. And if the checklist is not met and the trigger does not fire, I do not make a trade. End of discussion, end of story. Once I'm in the trade, I have a set of conditions that lead me to exit the trade, either positively or negatively. If you're just in there trading, guys, and listen, I know like we have live trading in the Blue Sky Discord, and that's great. I hope you learn from that. Sure, I hope you can take a trade or two and make some money. Okay, but if you're sitting here, let me just tell you this without any uncertain terms. If you're looking to copy trade a professional trader and make millions of dollars, you will be the first one. Okay, and I realize that may piss some people off, and so it may be. But I always, what I love seeing in the chat when people talk about, when like this event where we're doing some education or where Mike explains something that he's doing, that is when you learn, guys. Right? Sure, watching Mike, and the group here make trades, that can be helpful. Okay, but again, from experience, I've yet to have anyone come up to me at one of the events I've done, say, Matt, I followed every one of your trades, and here I am. And I've had some good live trading over the years. But I remember and you don't want to be dependent on anybody else for your trade ideas. When I was working for TradeStation, I ran a live options trading room for them, and we did very, very, very well. But at the same time, I took a week off to go on vacation. I had some of the crappiest emails that I've ever had in this business waiting for me when I got back. Like people like, how dare you take a week off? And I told him, I said, I had one guy said, you were gone and I couldn't trade. I was like, and listen, I'm an educator, so I don't want to say this to the guy, but I was kind of like, well, bro, that's a you problem, right? I do education for 2 hours a day, every single day in this room, at the time. If you don't know what I'm looking for, and this guy's been in the room for 6 months, if you don't know what I'm looking for after this, I don't even know what to tell you, dude. Like if you've got me on mute and you're just looking when I pull up the trade box to enter a trade, that's not what this is for. Don't get me wrong. I always hope, when I'm live trading, people can hop along in a trade and make a little money. But at the same time, we're here for education. And that's really, so again, put that in your trading plan. A plan for your trading. But for a trading plan, you have to have a playbook and you have to follow it. Now, for me, I freelanced too much when I first started, okay? I had general idea, generally I'll get out here, generally I'll get out there, and I never followed it, right? I was a chaser, I bag held, I did all the stupid mistakes, right? And I read Mark Douglas's The Disciplined Trader when I first started. I've told this story before. And I mocked the mistakes he was talking about in the book. I'm like, what moron, does this? Well, I was that moron then when I first started, right? So, again, like I said, I used to have a big presentation about make sure you stick to this, make sure you stick to this. No, make your playbooks, follow your playbooks. If you're following your playbooks and you're constantly losing, well, it's a bad play, and that'll happen, right? Actually, just last week I had a play I'd been working on for about 3 weeks. Probably it wasn't a ton of time, but probably put 9-10 hours into putting it together, a little visual back testing, a little sim trading on it. And I just said, you know what, this I don't think this works. It didn't really speak to my trading style. And so, yeah, that was, I just, I always keep the notes because you never know when inspiration may strike, or you learn about a new indicator and you say, oh, this would really work with that thing. So I probably have a stack of files because I like to print out stuff at the end about yay big for all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. I became consistent when I stopped trying to follow other traders. Right. And that's exactly it. Don't get me wrong. But if like, for example, somebody asked me about, hey, I'm taking this course from this so-and-so guy. He live trades every day. I said, oh, that's great. I said, I've never heard of him, so I can't tell you if he's legit or not. But all I can tell you is the very first day that I used to tell people this in my live trading room. If this is your first day, get your hand off your mouse. Okay, and that's not a euphemism. That's literally the mouse on your desk. And just watch and listen. In fact, your first week in a new room, you should do that. Because if you're new, you're probably going to find your way into several different live trading rooms. I'm going to start doing a little in my Discord as well. Not every day, just a couple of hours a week when I get back from vacation. But that's it. Just watch and listen for a little while. So you shouldn't be taking anybody else's trade if you don't understand what's going on. Now, sure, somebody like Mike, if you see his trade, you understand what he's going for, and you see him getting into a trade, and it meets your risk criteria, by all means. But at that point, it's your trade, right? And you understand what's going on, guys. There is no, I will tell you this, there is no better feeling in the entire world of trading than being completely in control of your own trading. Okay. I can't tell you, it's not a switch flip, guys. I wish it was. I wish the light bulb went on. But for me, when I sit down every morning, I am in complete control. Does that mean every trade's going to be a good one? I'm not going to make some mistakes? No. But I'm not going to sit here and blow out my brokerage account, right? That's just it. Making money, if you're in control of your trading, I can almost guarantee you will make money. Okay, making money, that's why we're here, right? Like, I wouldn't do this if it didn't pay as well as it did with all the aggravations, right? But the great feeling is not necessarily making the money. The great feeling is just being in control. You're not relying on anything or anybody else. Mark Douglas talks about this in The Disciplined Trader. It's in the first few pages. And this is one of the big mental blocks that we encounter, right, guys? So all had either an hourly or a salary job, some of us both in our lives, right? Most of us, me included, first job, probably flipping burgers on a grill somewhere, okay? And we know if we got paid, well, we didn't get paid $10 an hour back then, but let's say we get paid $10 an hour and you work an 8-hour shift. At the end of the day, you're $80 richer before taxes, and I get all that, right? But so that's it. Or if you make $50,000 a year after taxes, at the end of the year, you're going to have 50K. Trading isn't like that, okay? And whereas in another job, even if you're the boss, you're subject to certain things you have to do, right? If you run a restaurant, which I never recommend doing. I have too many friends in that business. Anyway, love restaurants, would never get involved in one. But if you run a restaurant, even if you're in charge, you still got to make sure the orders are coming through. You've got to do all this. In trading, you don't have to do anything at any given time. The markets, for all of the big bad, and I know we anthropomorphize the markets quite a bit here, guys, but for all of the big bad markets and all of this, and the markets and the market makers are out to get us and all that stuff, do you know how much control the markets have over you? Zero. Markets do not have any control over you. And the other side of that is we don't have any control over the markets as much as we wish we did, right? Nobody forces you, unless you're in some really weird sort of situation. Nobody forces you to click the buy button or the sell button any given day, right? They don't. Okay. So again, to kind of tie this all in before I talk about a couple other things, if you do not have a trading playbook for whatever your favorite setup is, and if you don't have a favorite setup, guys, you gotta start learning the setup. Start with candlesticks, okay, and put it on paper or on Microsoft Word, whatever the case may be, and start sim trading it, okay. We don't have time to get into my 3 phases, but I have a whole 3-phase system that I put every potential playbook through, right? On average. I'm some of you are probably about to ask this question. On average, before I've put a single dollar of my actual money into a trade, I have built the playbook, evaluated the playbook, paper traded it, tweaked the rules, adjusted the rules, and done all that from idea to, if it pans out, from idea to first trade of real actual money can be sometimes as much as 3 to 4 months. Okay, I know we all want to learn a setup in 1 or 2 weeks and be trading it, guys. That's, in my experience, it's just not realistic. Okay, so the 2 takeaways I want you to, if you you don't have to put together a business plan that's like hardcore or anything like that, but the Small Business Administration, SBA.gov, has some great small business plan templates. You don't need to worry about a marketing plan or a management plan. It's just you and any stakeholders, like, if you're married, or the people close around you, even if they're not money stakeholders, they're emotional stakeholders. Okay, tell them the plan, talk them through it, and ask for feedback. Okay, because I don't care if you've got a $50,000 live brokerage account or you're spending $150 on an evaluation. Okay, even if getting good at trading may not cost a ton of money anymore, right? 6 months of a fun, an eval subscription and even 10 resets is pennies compared to what people have lost. It's pennies compared to what I lost in the market when I first started. Okay, but you will have a significant time investment. Okay. All right. So guys, a couple quick things. First of all, again, I direct your attention to the chat. We are going to close. We're going to close that in 5 minutes. Okay, at 4:45 Eastern time. So get in there and first of all, like and subscribe this channel. That helps get our message out. Okay. In addition, and also if you subscribe to this channel, any events, like if you don't see the events in the Discord or you're gone for a couple days, they'll give you little pop-up notifications and let you know, hey, Blue Sky's going live. It's probably Matt or Josh or somebody equally as good looking as us. But anyway, yeah. Antonio, Sim works wonders. That's absolutely it, guys. I made 3 or 4 sim trades today when my internet started acting up, right? Because I don't want to miss any trades, even if I don't make real money off them. I still want to go through the motions. And again, I'm a baseball fan. I know we're getting towards the end of the baseball season, but what's the very first thing that a player does when he reports to spring training in February? Hits off a tee, right? You hit off a tee. Then you hit off a machine, then it's live pitching, then it's spring training games, then it's, again, it's the same process. It's the exact same process. Two-time Mr. Universe 2017, 2018. I wish. Actually, at the university where I went, my dad was the athletic director there. We had former, he didn't win, but he got to, like the final 20 or something in the mid-90s, who was our strength and conditioning coach for the football team. You want to meet a guy that could put a bunch of grown, real grown ass men on their butts. He could do it. So anyway, guys, while you're signing up, I want to talk very briefly about this program that I just launched this week, and this is through my website, TeresiesTrading.com. I don't think I can put links in here. I think it tries to block me if I put a link. Does it? Yeah, it will. So in the general channel, or in futures chat in the Discord, I'm going to put the link to this, guys. So for the very first time, one of you, I don't remember who it was, and I don't think they're here, but back in May actually challenged me in a good way to put together a program specifically for funded, to get people funded and to keep people funded, right? So I actually went into my, Josh has talked to you guys about how you can go into your RTrader, your Rhythmic Pro, and adjust like settings to make sure, hey, if I hit a $500 daily drawdown or $1,000 or whatever, or a trailing drawdown, it stops you out of trades. I actually went in there and set myself up in several different combines. I went to, I mainly stuck to Blue Sky's rules, but I looked at other places as well, and I just put in the rules, and I went through, about 10, 15 combines, passed about half of them, failed about half of them, but I went through the process of, doing that because it wasn't something I had a ton of experience with. I played around in the Blue Sky account for a few months. I think I donated about 6 months to Josh and the company. And other than that, so I put this together. It's a 30-day program. Okay. I'll drop the, do I have the syllabus still? Let me see if I can find it. Well, you know what? I'll put it, after we're done, I'll put it back in there. Sign-ups for this end tomorrow night, guys. So next week is going to be the onboarding week, and then we've got 4 weeks of instruction, and Blue Skies will give everyone who signs up a 50% off coupon, and they've never done that before. So a huge thank you to Josh and the crew over there. Who, guys, I honestly, there's no better. I know this sounds like I'm kissing up a little bit, and I am, but I believe what I say. There's no better funded trader company out there when it comes to the education side of things, right? Some of them have videos. I know one of them's trying to basically start like a trader TV. I mean, that's great. I don't know how that's going to help. You're going to get 3 hours of one-on-one coaching with me directly, just us. You're going to get probably about 10 to 12 hours of small group stuff. You're going to get access to all my playbooks. We're going to do some live trading together. The goal is within this 30 days to get you funded. Okay, there are no guarantees. I'm not, even if I could legally and ethically make guarantees, I would not. Now, if the goal is 30 days and you get funded in 45, did you fail? No, of course you didn't. Okay, so if you're somebody who's been struggling, maybe you've spent, you've reset 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, for that, the cost of this program, guys, is $399. It's going to be once I do, it's a pilot program. Once I do this, and let's say I have 10 people and I get 8 of them funded, you bet your butt I'm going to double the price when it comes to November's class, right? So if you're somebody who, if you're new, or B, if you're somebody who's been scuffling a little bit, I really believe this course is for you. And even if we don't get you funded, you're going to learn quite a bit. You're going to have some plays to trade on your own. So again, you will see right there in the Blue Sky channel. I can't. That's not letting me drag this over. Okay. Right under where Josh says out 75%, you've got that link. I'm only taking 15 people, guys. I don't know if we'll hit that or not, but if we do hit 15, so if you click through that in like an hour and the sign up page is dead, that's why. I gotta, I can't do 30 people, guys, because I got to spend a lot of hours with people. So again, guys, I really encourage you to check that out. Again, I'm going to talk about it a little more. I'll put the syllabus in the futures chat channel, and I will. But signups close tomorrow, probably about 5 o'clock, and then I'm going to move forward with the clients that we have. So I really encourage you to check that out. Again, there's no guarantees, but you're gonna. You know what? I can guarantee you're going to get my very best effort to get you where you're trying to be, and once not only get you funded, but keep you funded. Okay, because all you got to do is survey the room to see that the Discord room, that there's a decent amount of funded traders who bomb out those accounts, and then you got to start all over again, which is time and money. So again, if you're somebody who's been scuffling a little bit, I really encourage you to check that out. Okay. How many are signed? I think we have 5 right now. So I would love to get that up to 10. 10 is the number, because 10 is I don't have to do math for percentages, right? If I can get 7 on 10 out of you funded, 8 on 10 out of you funded, that's a really nice percentage for me, and then I can brag about that, right? I can pat myself on the back. So you know what? Every trader has ego, guys. I've got a decent amount of ego as a trader. I've got a lot of ego as a trading educator, guys, right? And so this is that you're gonna get my best effort on this, because I want to keep my ego intact, right? If 1 out of 10 get funded, I'm not going to be happy with that. And actually, if something like that happens, we're going to extend the course until some people get in there. But again, this is, to my knowledge, this is the very first program like this ever designed by somebody not directly employed with a funded trader company. Again, I have a nice little business relationship with Blue Sky. I don't work for them. That allows me to do and say certain things and be a little more real with you guys. But that's the process. So everybody, any questions on that? You can also direct message me, Trader Matt, and in the Blue Sky channel if you have any questions as well. All right, guys. Honestly, 50%. So basically, if you were to take that 50% off coupon and go get a 50K account for less than $500, you're going to get 30 days of intensive instruction. Guys, I charge $297 an hour for a la carte coaching, and I get takers on that for you. That's a lot of money. I get takers on that because I'm damn good at what I do. All right, so it looks like we have got our names. It is time. Let me pull up. It is just about time to spin the wheel of names. Let me get these set up. I will put it on the screen share, and then we will do our thing. Oh, yeah, you got to have energy. Got to have energy in this business. This is my outlet for energy, guys, right? Because In trading, you have to be trading itself. You've got to be even keel. You got to be like this. But I'm an extrovert. I am a big like people person. I love working with people. So this is my outlet for that energy, right? I used to be a basketball coach, but I didn't like being poor. That was it. That until you get into the college ranks, there's. All right, so we have got our wheel O names. That should be visible. Yeah, we can see that. All right, so this spin is for one complimentary month of the $25,000 evaluation account provided by Blue Sky Trading Company. If you win, you don't need to do anything. Josh will reach out to you via either email or direct message and get you all set up. So good luck to everybody. Let's spin. Paul. Congrats, Paul. So again, Josh will be reaching out to you momentarily for that. All right, so again, I'm going to go back up to my trading desk, and I am going to put the syllabus. Again, I treat this like a college course, guys. There's a syllabus, materials, week-by-week instruction, prerequisites, all of that you need. This isn't just something I threw together in 30 minutes. I've been working on this for I've been working on it all summer, but about the last 3 weeks I've really been putting this together. So I thank you for your time. Again, next Thursday as well is the final edition of the Blue Sky Trading Company Summer Psychology Series. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you being here and taking the time out, and especially in spite of some of the goings-on in the world right now. We can all go catch up on that now, and I hope to see all of you. Well, not all of you, obviously. That would be a hell of a time commitment on my part. But I hope to see some of you in the Funded Traders Accelerator program. Again, more information for that is available in the Blue Sky Futures chat channel. So thanks. Again, I'm Matt Hensley with Teresius Trading. Thanks to the Blue Sky Trading Company for having me once again. Josh, Mike, and all the guys over there are fantastic. You can't go wrong with them. So even if you just want to check out a funded account, I highly recommend you sign up with them. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys